Hi, this is Mike, and we're looking at Bitcoin. So that wave E was also quite a bounce, quite a bounce. Okay, the move up that we saw after I said this was D, E, yeah, it just kept going, right? It kept going. Then we saw one, A, B, C, D, E, and again E up to the highs. That's four E's in a row we have now, right? You'd think that if this thing was going to break up by now, it would have done it, right? Not continuously make lower highs, right? And it's getting to the point now where we're coming into into the apex, and we have maybe could be a couple of 1-2s here, and we're going to have a long squeeze, right? The opposite of a short squeeze, right? This price is just wedged up into this corner now, and it's going to move. It's going to move because there's got nowhere to go, right? If these E waves are really the end of wave twos, right? And you've had massive deep sideways alternation for each and every of these waves that we've seen, that means this short squeeze is going to bust price out of here fairly quickly. It won't give you a chance, right? It won't. And I think that that is coming very soon, like maybe within the next hour. I would not be surprised if we saw something happen, given the count that I've got here. Um, and also, what I've done recently is I said to myself, look, why not try to come up with I know you've tried it, try it again, try to come up with a bullish scenario. What if you had to? What would you do? And I thought about it, and I checked a few things, and the only thing I thought of potentially was, or maybe if we had a zigzag here instead of a five-way move, that would have been easy enough. I would have done that already. The only alternative would be, well, what if we had another five-wave move down here, right? Then then we'd have a zigzag, I suppose, right? And would that make a little bit of sense somehow? Well, maybe this other moving average might get retested, right? It's possible, it really depends. But what would that be for? It'd be for another five waves up. But do we really need another five waves up? I don't know. Maybe we do. Maybe I counted the whole five move up wrong. I mean, it had a expanded D wave in both wave two and wave four, right? One, two, three, four, five, right? Wave three ended just here, according to this count, right? Why? Because the count of the waves, right? One, two, three, four, five, and then it extended further. So for whatever reason, it did, right? It did. Did people think this was a wave one because the D wave was expanded at some point? Did they think that it was a wave one or whatever? Maybe. There's a number of reasons why it could have happened, right? Apart from the bullishness. Um, but with this count, there is no extra move coming. That's the problem, right? With this particular count, every single wave is accounted for, right? All the five waves in wave three, right? So it's just the one and the five either side, which we saw at the top, there was an extra wave up there. So that's done. So really, it's like trying to force out a dump. Like just you shouldn't force things, right? It's just not, coming out. What can I say? Like that would be the only thing that could potentially be the case. But really, once again, I just don't see it happening. Um, the other thing is extreme alternation in wave two, and then one, and again another bounce for E, and then one, another bounce for E. Every move up is creating new resistance. All right, we got four E's as I mentioned. All right, I know I'm at a small degree here, 1 minute, but this is where the price action is happening now. Right, This is where I believe wave one started, A, B, C, D, E, new resistance, right? This was a weak 5-wave move here, right? It's overlapping, but there's 5 waves there, right? And then A, B, C, D, E, again, once again, wave E, new resistance, right? Um, and obviously the lower highs is important, right? Because if this thing was going to break, I reckon it would have done it already. All right, each red line represents new resistance, right? Did we see just another one at the low? Sorry, did we see another one just there happen right now? I'm not sure. It's getting too small now. It's like it's getting ridiculous. But if you see, there's a 5-wave move. There's A, B, C. I think D could be in progress right now, right? Yeah, it's getting into this area now where something's going to happen, something's going to break, right? And a lot of the times people may assume, hey, this is a giant flag pattern, it's a bullish flag, it's going to continue. Probably a lot of that going on, right? It could be like, oh, it's a flat top. Usually price breaks up when it's a flat top, right? Right? It's a flat top. So, it's making higher lows, except now it's making lower highs. So who's right? The flat top theory, the bull flag theory, or the wave theory, right? The Arias wave theory, not Elliott crap, right? Who's right here? Is the crowd right? I mean, the crowd's never right, by the way. But I do know the clowns have slowed down with their talk. They also might be feeling a little bit confused, right? Bitcoin astronaut might be ready for the launch, right? He might have his special astronaut drink ready, and he might be about to take his first sip ahead of time before it even happens. The anticipation might be killing him. And yeah, all I can see here is just the same thing, repeating, 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 and a long squeeze coming. And also what happens when alternation is skewed to the upside, you get giant moves down, big, sharp, red, falling knife, you know, that type of thing. That's what I envision is going to happen, because after all this is said and done, this has sucked in as many people as it possibly can. And when this thing starts to break down, all those people are going to sell, right? And it's going to go into a selling frenzy, and it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse, right? So you've got people who are bullish and bearish, right? Like, for example, you've got uh, people like Gareth Soloway. He's a pretty good trader. Um, he's expecting Bitcoin to fall lower, right? I'm agreeing with him. I'm on his side. Then you've got people like Raoul Pal, who is irresponsibly long, right? I mean, that clearly means that he's caught up in the mania, and he'll use all the confirmation bias he could possibly muster up to counter his ignorance on the waves, because he has all this macro knowledge and probably thinks that he knows more than everyone because he has a YouTube channel, a business, and used to work for Goldman Sachs. But don't forget, he also interviewed Sam Bankman-Fried. I mean, not that he would have known what was going to happen, but I can probably tell you that more things are going to go bust during this bear market. It's not over yet. And then you got people like, Michael Saylor, the Bitcoin ambassador. He'll talk about everything except price, everything except price action. And he'll also say he doesn't try to guess whether the price will be tomorrow, a week, or a month, but he knows that it's going to a million, right? He reckons it'll go to astronomical levels, right? Digital property, store of value, right? And it's because they have no idea. They have no idea. They're also gambling and FOMOing in, right? But people love that because they're in the same boat and they need something to make themselves feel better, right? So that's why I think it's BS also when someone tells you, like, if you see a pattern you recognize, you take the trade. Like, okay, I recognize this as a bull flag. Should I take the trade? Where do I put my stop? Should I just buy it? I just buy the underlying asset. It's easier, right? Absolutely, it's easier. Don't have to worry about stops. Put in a call, buy calls, um, all that stuff. Whatever it is, right? Doesn't matter how you're long. If it goes down, right? And if it goes down, it doesn't matter how many puts you bought either. They'll expire worthless. But anyway, I've gone on long enough for this session here. I think that it's just one of those times where the patience will eventually annoy the hell out of people because it took so long for them to get nowhere. And that's why I created RSWave, right? Because if you don't actually have any idea what's going to happen, you have to wait a long time to find out you're wrong, especially when something like this happens. You actually have to wait quite a while before you say, oh my God, I was wrong, right? And that's when the selling frenzy continues. But the thing is, the reason why I love the wave so much is because I know that these times are going to happen. I know that you're going to get into these extremely complex patterns and you're going to have to wait for the profits. You who have no choice but to wait, right? And then when you finally get, the result, some kind of result, whatever it is, right? You also got to know what's your target, right? For those people who are bullish, for example, I wonder what their target is, right? I wonder where they get the information from. What is their target? Maybe it's just like a hodl mentality. I'm just going to hold it because it's going to the moon. That's not really a target, right? It's okay to do that, but it's really not. It's not really productive, right? And I've got my ideas about even after we bottom, how these patterns are gonna how they're gonna develop, and when would it be time to not be so bullish, right? Because nothing goes up in a straight line forever. Even Bitcoin can't go up in a straight line forever, right? And it's gone up pretty big time, right, percentage wise. But it doesn't mean that in the future it's going to go up constantly. It's probably going to have a big dips along the way as well, because that's just how markets work. You know, uh, uh, moving averages. We dipped into the 500 period. I reckon the next test will be the 1000, right? And even if this thing does go down, there'll be definitely hurdles along the way, bounces along the way, just to fake people out even more. Probably won't be that bad, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen, right? All I can tell you is it's going down based on the waves, right? I have a target of 10K based on the waves. How it gets there, I have no idea, right? If it hasn't hit my target yet, then I'm not taking off the trade. I don't care what happens along the way because it can't bounce above the highs if it goes down, right? Until we hit the target. And even when we hit the target, it probably won't bounce above the highs anyway. It'll probably just correct in some way, maybe even make you feel like it's going to go back up, but then it'll produce a pattern and then stop and then go the other way again and keep faking people out along the way. I think that's going to become more prevalent moving forward. It's going to happen more often. So if you're not prepared for it, you'll have no idea what's going on and it'll whipsaw you out of your positions, whether you have margin trades on or whether you own it. It'll whipsaw you, it'll test your psychology big time. So if you don't have something that's helping you along the way to understand what's coming, prepare to have your psychology tested to the maximum. Because you know what they say, markets can stay irrational, or sorry, stay rational longer than people. All right, the markets can basically just do what they do, and however you react to it, the market don't care. Right, so hopefully you found this one informative. Thanks for watching.